Good morning, class. After a break of almost 2 weeks now, we are actually getting back to our work, getting back to our studies. We are getting back to analyzing literature using some perspectives that we gained in the previous classes. So, if you remember, we were reading one passage by Arundhati Roy from her work God of Small Things in the last class. But we did not discuss it that elaborately as such. So tried to recollect that passage. We saw that there were some traditions of untouchability which were being discussed there. How people were not, people of a certain community were not allowed to get inside the house through the front door, or they had to tie brooms onto their clothes so that they will be sweeping off their footprints. How they were not allowed to be walk on the main roads and or wear proper upper clothing. So similarly, we saw that there was a certain kind of ideology which favored only the privileged class or the privileged caste, and there is discrimination based on caste here. Discrimination based on caste, and the power is rested upon the upper caste, and the lower castes are less privileged, and this ideology of the upper caste prevails in the society. So, there are many measures through which this ideology is assured. There could be repressive state apparatus, that there could be punishments if the lower caste does something which is not allowed for them. There could be punishments, repressive state apparatus could be there, and there could be ideological state apparatus, that is through a constant telling that you belong to a lower caste. They are being indoctrinated that they are an inferior lot. So that was one way of analyzing that passage with the help of the concepts that we learned. Now that discrimination and the ideological underpinning was based on caste there. Now we are moving forward to another passage. We are going to read another passage, but here we will understand that the discrimination and the kind of stereotyping and the kind of ideological background is that of gender. Earlier it was caste, now we are moving on to the factor of gender. Now there is a significant word here, patriarchy, which means that the domination of the male gender over other genders. That is, more privileges are given to the male gender, more power is assigned to the male gender, while the female gender or even the transgenders or the other communities are given less privileges or less access to power. So in most of the social scenarios, the predominant gender would be that of the male. That system is called patriarchy. Now when we read this upcoming passage, you will understand how patriarchy works, how the ideology of patriarchy works, and how certain stereotypes are made about women, about how women should be. So without much further ado, I'll read the passage. This is there in your text. This is a passage from Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre, which is a very popular work. I saw he was going to marry her for family, perhaps political reasons, because her rank and connections suited him. I felt he had not given her his love, and that her qualifications were ill adapted to win from him that treasure. That was the point. This was where the nerve was touched and teased. This was where the fever was sustained and fed. She could not charm him. Look at the word. She could not charm him. If she had managed the victory at once, and he had yielded and sincerely laid his heart at her feet, I should have covered my face, turned to the wall, and figuratively have died to them. If Miss Ingram had been a good and a noble woman, endowed with force, fervor, kindness, sense, I should have won vital struggle with two tigers, jealousy and despair. Then my heart torn out and devoured, I should have admired her, acknowledged her excellence, and been quiet for the rest of my days. So this passage continues, but the main highlight of the passage would be the sentence, she could not charm him. So in order for a woman to be successful or to survive or be well off in a society, they need to charm a male member of the society. So this could be the historic background of the historical times then, that the existence or the survival of the female community is portrayed as dependent on the male community. They're not shown to be having independent existence or the will to choose a career or live by themselves, but rather they need to charm a male member of the society so that they can depend on them. This is a kind of stereotypical representation which actually generates from those historical times. At those times, the ideological background or ideological foregrounding was this way. This is how people perceived gender, that the male gender is superior and the female gender is inferior. This is how they perceived gender at that time. So when we read a work of literature from those times, we actually understand how people of those times looked at gender, how they discriminated between genders, how they stereotyped genders, and how they looked down upon certain genders. So this is how most of the time the readings of literary texts work. That is, we understand that these are not just naive stories and poems, but rather deep beneath these writings there are actually very political questions. Very political questions. In Arundhati Roy's writing, there was the question of caste which was being discussed. In Charlotte Bronte's writing, even though it does not seem that politically charged, but there are questions of gender and equality which are being raised there. So all these tell us that literature is actually a reservoir of social ideas, ideologies, and the ideas by which we function. So whenever we take up a book of literature, remember that this is not just some form of writing which I would just enjoy and forget, but rather this is a very significant social text from which I can actually gather information about history, ideology, how people believed life should be, how people considered genders, or who were more powerful in a community, and how did they establish their power in a community, how did they sustain their power in a community. All these questions can be answered through literature itself. So wouldn't that be fun? So there would be many more passages in the text. So in the coming days, please look them up and try to come up with the kind of interpretations that I have been working on. I am very sure that you would have a diverse range of interpretations that you can make of those texts. So try a hand at those. So for the time being, I'm concluding. Thank you for listening, guys. I hope I have helped you recollect and rewind a bit so that the flow is regained. Okay, thank you very much. So stay safe and stay positive. Thank you very much, guys.